What's up, everybody? It's what Jim. In today's live stream, we're going to be doing spoiler talk on John Wick Chapter 4, as well as ranking the John Wick films. Even though it says spoiler talk, I must warn you, definitely will contain spoilers. So if you've not seen John Wick 4, please watch it and then come back for this live stream.
Be warned.
And we both done spoiler-free reviews for it, so you can go ahead and watch them instead if you want. I've got them linked in the description below, as well as Jason's channel. How are you doing today, Jason?
Oh, doing all right. It's a really warm day in Kansas, which is a surprise because it's been
very cold here.
Is it? Well, yeah. It's been cold, and then today it's warm, so it's just crazy weather that we get. Like one day you're wearing a coat, the next day you're wearing shorts. You just never know.
I can't remember the last time I've been wearing shorts.
Yeah.
It feels like it's been cold forever.
Yeah, but it could get cold again, so who knows? But
I'm looking forward to this live stream. We've already got a comment. I think this was a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
On your reaction on Salvadale's. What a great idea for the stream. Thank you very much. But we both want to do a live stream on this film, so it's about time we finally do one. But how we're going to do it is we're going to quickly talk about our thoughts on the film. And then we'll talk about the action. We'll then talk about the story and the characters. And then the final words on the film before we rank all the John Wick movies. So I'll let you go first, Jason, giving you quick thoughts on the film.
Yeah, quick thoughts on the film. If you saw my review, I was actually really disappointed with this one. I think my expectations were really high because I love the first three. If you listen to me on Z Talks or something, I always rave about how much I love John Wick, and the whole series has been really great. So I don't know, going into this one, yeah, I was expecting like the best action movie ever made, and I don't know, it just didn't really do it for me like the other three did, and it just felt like the story it felt like it was a lot of the action sequences were like a lot similar to the other action sequences of the other movies. Only the Paris scene I thought was like a really cool original action scene. So I don't know. Action scenes weren't as great to me. There's too many characters that kind of come into this movie that I didn't think were needed. Like, I don't know. And there's so many characters that we've been introduced to in the past, and they don't bring anybody back. It's like every movie they introduce you a new character, and then they disappear almost. Like only character that stayed is the Bowery King from Lawrence Fishburne's character, which is a great character, and I wish he was in the movie more. And then of course Winston's been in all the movies basically. But besides that, it feels like it's just not. There should be more consistency in the films. I would love to see Halle Berry come back, or and some of those characters. I don't know. So I didn't care for all the new characters that they brought into the movie. And then the story, I just felt like it ended in the third movie. Like we had a pretty good arc for the character in those first three movies. If they could have ended it in a good way in that third movie, I would have been more happy. Because they do this movie and it felt like almost redundant to the third movie in some ways to me. Anyway, so I don't know. Just real disappointed with the way they ended this this fourth movie, and kind of basically maybe ended the franchise. We don't know. But yeah, I mean, the positives is that Paris scene is so good, and it's almost worth it just for that Paris scene. If you can just fast forward the first 2 hours and you get to that Paris part, like that's definitely the highlight of the movie. And obviously, the costuming is amazing. The set directions or designs are amazing. Cinematography amazing. Stunt work amazing. So it still has all that really cool stuff that you get out of John Wick, and you get more of Keanu Reeves just saying "yeah" like all the time. Like that's all he says. Like, do you want a gun?
It must be his favorite word.
That's his favorite word. That and I need a gun. Like he always says that in every movie. It's like
I'm pretty sure he's got plenty though.
What's that?
I'm pretty sure he's got plenty of guns though.
Oh yeah, yeah. He always has a gun, or someone always has a gun to give him. And the guns are cool. I do enjoy the guns. There's some cool guns in this one as well. But yeah, that's my overall thought on the movie.
Well, I'm pretty much on the opposite end with to you, Jason. I absolutely love the film.
Yeah,
But Mike, did you see that? Mike, we're
Mike.
doing well, thanks. And we've got my dad saying John Wick kills about 5,000 people over 4 movies, and the blind man shoots him. John would have died ages before that if the guy could have seen him. I guess that's my dad's thoughts then.
Yeah, there's a pretty good kill count. I bet he kills in 4 movies. Yeah, probably kills close to 500 people, or probably 400 people. I don't know.
Ridiculous. But yeah, I really loved the film. I thought it was one of the best John Wick movies, and I'm looking forward to watching it again on DVD. But I do agree that there were a lot of characters in that movie. I think it would have been great to see Halle Berry back in this one, because I was a bit disappointed with her character in the third John Wick film. I thought she was going to be in it more. It's a shame because I really like that character. It's a bit of a shame she wasn't in this one.
Yeah.
But I still thought the new characters were great, especially Kane. Kane's definitely one of my favourites. I don't think you were a big fan of him though.
Yeah, I could get past this whole blind thing. Like, unless he has superhuman powers like Daredevil, it makes sense. But without, I mean, I don't think he has superhuman powers. I think he's blind. So I mean, maybe he can hear a little bit better than everybody else, but
Maybe.
I still don't think you could sword fight. I don't know. That just gets me. I'm like, I can't believe that a blind man could be a good sword fighter.
Just one of those things that happens in John Wick.
Yeah.
Let's see what's going on in the comments. What else? If it's over a video game made of a movie,
Oh yeah.
John Wick should be it. Well, I know John Wick's in Fortnite, but I don't play that game, so it doesn't really make a difference to me.
Yeah, he would be awesome as a video game character.
Yeah, but we might as well now just we'll talk about the action side of things for this movie. You obviously going to start with the action. It's what John Wick's known for.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll start to talk about the action that happened in Japan.
Okay.
There were sort of three sort of sections in this.
Yeah.
You have the Japan fight in the Japan Continental.
Mm-hmm.
You also had the one when King was fighting in the kitchen, and then you also had the samurai sort of duel towards the end as well. And John Wick was sort of fighting in an auction.
Yeah.
For the Japanese and samurai stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought all those scenes were really cool. Especially enjoyed the one when Kane was fighting all those guys in the kitchen.
Yeah.
He used these specific devices to make noises, but he never used it in the rest of the film.
I was gonna say, why didn't he use it again?
He would only use it for that one particular scene.
Yeah. I was thinking the same thing. Like, I wish he would have used it again or something, but
it was still pretty cool though. It's just straight away in the movie, John Wick is killing loads of people in just the first 20 minutes of the movie. But do you have any thoughts on the Japan part of the film?
Yeah, so I mean, it's interesting because it's 20 minutes maybe in the film or 30 minutes. It feels like they spend the first part of the film just kind of introducing new characters, I think, and all that, and then we get to this Japan scene where he I'm not sure what he's doing there. I can't remember what was the purpose of that whole scene. He goes to meet with the Japanese continental guy, the Winston of the Japanese Continental. And I don't know if he was trying to get help. I can't remember. But it's like he's there, and all of a sudden the bad guys are there. And I'm like, how did the bad guys get there all of a sudden? They all just kind of came at once. I mean, it's because they wanted a cool Japanese setting for an action scene. I guess that's why they got them all in there. Yeah, my feeling of the whole scene, it felt similar to the New York Continental scene in John Wick 3, where you had all these guys that had a bunch of armor on. And so in that movie, he shoots them and it doesn't really hurt them because they have too much armor. And it feels like this scene was pretty similar to that.
Mm.
And so that kind of bothered me when I was watching. I was like, wow, this feels like the same scene that I've already seen before in John Wick. And I thought the scene in John Wick Chapter 3 was better because he gets that shotgun with armor piercing bullets and he starts blowing people's heads off. And like, that's such a cool scene. In this one, and then you got those guys with the suits that are like bulletproof, which even if you have a bulletproof suit, I think that would hurt so bad it would still kill you getting shot.
Yeah, probably.
If it's not solid armor, I mean, bullet would, man, that would hurt so much. But yeah, he's doing that whole scene. It's a pretty long scene. Yeah, and then he finally meets Kane, kind of in that scene. I don't know. I wasn't. It didn't. It was underwhelming to me in some ways. I guess if I've seen this movie and hadn't seen the other movies, I'd probably say it's a really cool action scene. But since I've seen the other scenes, I'm like, wow, it doesn't feel like anything new or original to the series to me. I don't know. And there's one part I didn't really enjoy was he's like shooting and then he I think he runs out of bullets, so he throws his gun, and then he finds nunchucks, like
Yeah.
one piece of nunchucks, and he starts fighting with the nunchucks. I'm like, how are you beating these? You're struggling with the gun, and now you're gonna beat him with nunchucks? Like, that doesn't seem to make sense. Like, and he's wailing on them with the nunchucks. I'm like, wow, that can't be any better than what he was doing before. I don't know. These guys all have armor, and he's trying to beat them up with nunchucks. It just didn't make much sense to me. And it's a little bit of a clunky weapon. I mean, it looks kind of cool when
Yeah.
you're like, swinging it around. When you're doing like Bruce Lee stuff, swinging it over your shoulder, like that's cool. But when you're just swinging it at people, it's a little clunky of a weapon. But I don't know. So I don't know. I mean, it's not. I mean, it's okay, but it's just to me, it's not up to the level of what I wanted in a John Wick film. Yeah, then you get Kane comes in and you get the whole showdown between those two characters
Yeah.
in there.
Really cool.
Yeah, and then ends with that samurai scene, which I'm not sure what was going on there. Why he was fighting him?
It looked really cool though.
Yeah, and I like that actor. He's really good. The one that plays uh, the manager of the Osaka Continental, whatever. And I do like how the scene begins at the beginning when the bad guys show up and you're like, oh, here comes the showdown. Like, here's the bad guys, and the daughter, Akira, I think, or something her name is.
Yeah.
She's wearing like a kimono, like a really nice kimono, and then she takes it off and she has like this badass like ninja suit on or something. And she gets a bow and she says John, like, do you have a gun? And John goes, yeah. And he pulls out the gun. And then right when he pulls the gun out, everybody starts shooting. So I thought that was a cool way to start the scene. Like, I was like, he just pulls the gun out and all of a sudden, and all of a sudden now he's in John Wick mode. But yeah, I mean, it was nice to look at. I mean, it's really nicely, lighted, the scene and cinematography and the settings and yeah.
And at first, that Kira character was a bit worried about John Wick.
Yeah,
Which I heard all these bad things about him. She wasn't really sure whether she could trust him or not.
yeah, he really gets a bad rap, and he's kind of a nice guy in some sense. It's like he's not a mean person, really. I mean, he kills out in this.
He's not trying to be.
What?
I don't think he's trying to be. No.
No, he kills out of necessity, but he's not like a cruel person. But everybody's like, "Oh, John Wick, you're bad news," and I'm like, "Not really. He loves dogs. I mean,
Yeah, he's definitely a dog person.
yeah."
And he's not the only character in John Wick that's a dog person. I don't think
Love dogs in these.
dogs are definitely a big part in John Wick.
Yeah, it's a real big part.
And then we got the action sequence in Berlin. It was in that fight club, which it was a scene. It definitely was a lot going on. There was a lot of people dancing and a lot of loud music, and it was raining as well. It was quite
Yeah,
a lot to take in at first, but I really enjoyed that poker scene at the
yeah,
beginning,
yeah,
and Scott Adkins' character was cheating at poker the whole time,
yeah,
and I knew he would be cheating though. It was his
yeah.
own poker table, so
Right.
of course he would. But yeah, I thought it was really well done that bit. Seeing him inside that fat suit was very cool. He didn't look anything like his character himself in real life.
No.
I thought it was really well done how they did that. But yeah, I did prefer the fight scene in Japan. I think because there was just a bit more going on. But
Yeah.
I still enjoyed the Berlin one too. What did you think of that part of the film?
Yeah. Yeah. It's so interesting seeing Scott Adkins because he's such a good martial artist. Uh, I've seen a lot of movies with him in it, and he plays in bigger movies. He plays smaller parts usually. This is one of his bigger roles, I think, in a bigger movie, which is kind of cool. It was interesting they gave him a fat suit because, of course, he's like a really fit guy in real life,
Yeah,
uh, but he really hammed it up as the character, and it was kind of fun. I think he had the most fun out of all the characters because his name was Killa, and he's like
yeah.
German, and he's like a kingpin type guy, where it's like he's fat, but yet he can really handle himself.
It's
Because
like you got two Daredevil characters in this. You've got Daredevil and Kingpin, I guess.
yeah, yeah, kingpin. Yeah, he could play a great kingpin. Like I was watching, like man, I love because he still can give you a really good, roundhouse kick, which a fat guy probably can't give you a good roundhouse kick, but because it's not a fat guy, it's a fit guy in a fat suit. He can still give you some good kicks and stuff. So that was kind of interesting. In fact, he was much more powerful than John Wick in a hand to hand fight. He
Yeah,
was kind of dominating that whole fight basically. Um, and he even got hit a couple times and still kept going.
and
uh,
he got stabbed quite a lot in the neck area. He got
yeah,
stabbed
he kept saying I
about
got shot.
8 times. He got shot and stabbed loads in that neck area.
Yeah, he gets shot and stabbed in the butt, and he's still, you shot me in the butt or something. I'm like, how are you still going? He's still like nothing. But yeah, that the whole uh poker scene, yeah, that was a good start to the scene, introducing that character. And then you get the Kane, and you get Mr. Nobody or whatever character come into, or it's kind of two kind of major characters. So they all kind of come together, and they have that whole scene. The only thing I don't get is how did Kane know what hand he had? He knew exactly he had 4 9s, and he called it out. And I'm like, there's no way. There's no way if you're blind, you know what cards you have, right?
Yeah, I found it a bit confusing.
I was like, okay,
It's sort of like they forgot he was blind in that part.
yeah, I don't know what they're going for. Like that was too ridiculous, I guess, to me. Like I said, I think the whole character is kind of ridiculous. Whole blind thing. Like I like Donnie Yen. He's a great martial artist, of course, actor. I was excited to see him in here, but like if they would have made him just be able to, if they did the same character and he could see, I would like the character better. The whole fact that they made him blind and he still can, you know, kill people with the sword and you shoot him. Like if you're blind, you can shoot in the direction of the guy, but there's no way you could be very accurate. But he was like, accurate with everything. Um,
They
yeah,
probably made a bit too powerful.
yeah, I think so. I don't know. This movie franchise definitely pushes the limits of reality. I think this one probably. I think you agree with me. They really pushed the reality on this one
Yeah,
too far. I think, but uh, yeah. The thing about the Berlin scene, it reminded me of John Wick Chapter 1 when he goes to kill that mafia son in the Red Circle Club.
Oh yeah.
They're in this, they're in this club and he's shooting people and people are dancing and it's, dark and this was pretty similar. So it was another thing where I was like, I feel like we've done this before. Like it didn't feel new or original to me overall. I was like, I my expectations are so high, I guess, that I don't know, I just can't settle for just okay. Like I have to have really great, action scenes because the other John Wick's movies I think have really great action scenes. So I don't know, this one like was disappointing to me as an action scene. Uh and I still don't get how you I've never like I've never been to a party where you just dance to music. I don't know, I don't get that. I'm like that didn't look like fun to me. Like
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't go there.
I'm like that. Why is that fun? Just I don't know. Unless they're on drugs or something, maybe that's fun. But
And
um,
there were a lot of people in that park.
oh, a lot of people, and Berlin's known for a big party atmosphere. They love to party there. I know, but and I don't get like if you were dancing and people start shooting each other, would you stop dancing?
Yeah, I probably would. And they just stop for a second and then they just dance like nothing's happening.
Like we just go back. This is not big enough deal to stop dancing. It's like, man, I'd be out of there if I started hearing shots.
It was like that in the first John Wick movie.
Yeah, I feel like they do that in every John Wick movie. He's always shooting people with other people around, and nobody cares. And it's like, okay. And
Yeah,
the police department doesn't exist in this world. I don't think.
you had one police officer in all four movies.
Yeah, I've seen only one police officer in 4 movies. Besides that, I'm like, did they defund the police in all these cities? Like, I didn't understand. Like, because these scenes are long. They're shooting each other for 10 minutes or more, and I'm like, I'm sure somebody would have called the police by now. And but
Yeah. When I move on to the action part in Paris, and there's quite a lot that happens in Paris.
yeah,
You've got the fight around the cars. You've also got the house, which is my favorite part of the movie.
me too.
And you've also got the stairs, and you've got the the jewel as well. So I guess we'll start off with the fighting part around the cars. There was a lot of cars driving around that part.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what that monument's called.
the Arc de Triomphe, is that what it is? Or
Yeah, I think it's what it's called. And yeah, I thought that was really well done, and seeing the trucker's dog getting a bit of action, fighting enemies. Yeah, I thought it was really well done scene. But I do think they maybe overdid the cars a bit though. There were a lot of cars in that
yeah,
part of the movie.
a lot of people getting hit by cars too.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was well done part of the movie.
How do you like how they started with the Rolling Stones Paint It Black? That was kind of cool.
Yeah, I'll touch upon that later on in the live stream.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was quite cool to hear that song in it. And then you got the house part of the movie, which yeah, it's definitely a lot of really cool parts that happen in this. Such as when John Wick saves the tracker's dog. I thought it was nice, nice callback to the first John Wick.
Yeah.
But yeah, it shows that John Wick really does love his dogs.
Yeah.
But my favorite part is the bird's eye view part. It might be like a video game.
Oh
It's like
yeah.
a video game level.
Yeah.
It was all one take as well, and you have people on fire because of that fire weapon that John Wick was using.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know how he did it. It was really, really
Yeah.
well done.
Yeah.
One of my favorite John Wick action sequences.
I agree. It was one of the best ones.
I was just my mouth was open, just shocked with it all the whole time. And then you got the fight in the stairs, and the amount of stairs that John Wick's rolling down.
Oh my gosh.
You didn't really feel that much well, he did feel quite a bit of pain from it.
Yeah.
But he still survived from all of that, though. From all down
Yeah.
hundreds, or must be hundreds of stairs, a few hundred at least.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think you fall down 10 stairs, it hurts pretty badly.
Yeah, and you got the Kane guy who was helping up, who was helping John Wick up so they could both duel together. And it was quite funny. It had the part of the film that everyone was laughing in. It was when a dog peed on the
Yeah.
guy's head
Yeah.
that it took down. I thought that was very funny.
I got a big laugh. Yeah.
It's probably the funniest thing I've ever seen in John Wick, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Not a lot of funny scenes in John Wick.
That's definitely up there though. But yeah, I think overall the action is done amazingly here. I don't think I was disappointed with it, but a lot of the action is quite similar to the other John Wick movies. But I also thought it was quite different as well, though.
Yeah, that one was definitely a very unique idea that I think really worked. Especially the abandoned chateau scene was, yeah, I absolutely loved what they did there with the bird's eye view, like you said.
What's meant to mention about the dual part of the film, which I thought that was quite well done scene. It wasn't really too much to it though, but we'll talk a bit more about that scene later on in the live stream, because I want to talk about the ending of the film at some point.
Okay.
So I guess we'll now just discuss about the story of John Wick. And I've got a film synopsis here to remind ourselves of what the film is about. So with the price on his head ever increasing, legendary hitman John Wick takes his fight against the high table global as he seeks out the most powerful players in the underworld, from New York to Paris to Japan to Berlin. And yeah, I thought the story was great here in my opinion. I've got a few problems with it though, but I thought for the most part it was done great. What did you think of the story?
Well, like I said, I felt like a lot of the stuff could have been resolved in John Wick Chapter 3. And I feel like, I don't know, I didn't the whole time I just felt like we didn't need this movie, like, and I didn't need all this other stuff. Because the third movie ends with Winston, they're gonna destroy the hotel or whatever, and they're gonna fire him as manager, or what do they call it? The concert. They have some word for it. I forget. They always have these fancy words for everything. And so then John Wick helps him fight off these assassins, whatever, this army that comes after him. And then at the end, and also there's this Judicator character that never comes back, which I never understood. Like, they bring in the Harbinger, and I'm like, why didn't they just have the Judicator? And it's the same character. And they never killed the Judicator. I always thought, I didn't like the Judicator. I wanted her to die, but she never comes back, like a lot of characters. And so the movie ends in the third one where they're like, "Oh, we changed our mind, and you can be the manager, and we won't destroy the hotel," you know. And that's how the third movie ends. And then the very beginning of the fourth movie, they're like, "Oh, never mind, we're gonna fire you and destroy the hotel." And I'm like, what was the whole purpose of the third movie? They just undid everything from the third movie, and that kind of made me mad. I was like, what? I don't know. I didn't get that storyline at all, and why they did that. I don't get the elder. And one of my biggest problems is I don't understand who these people are. Who's the elder? What is his authority? What's his power? He's this big deal in the third movie, and then he shoots him in the fourth movie at the beginning. I'm like, and it's not even the elder from the third movie. It's like a different guy than what's in the third movie.
What was the point in the elder?
What was the point in the elder? That's my question. It seemed like a big deal, but it wasn't in the fourth movie. Like, or I mean, kind of was. I think they mentioned that like that was a bad thing. Like, oh, you killed the elder, that was a bad thing. I don't even know why he killed the elder. What was the purpose of killing the elder? I don't know. So some of the storylines like that, I didn't quite understand. I don't understand who the marquee guy is. Who is this
Yeah,
guy?
I didn't really care much about that character, but I had a lot of questions about him.
Yeah,
Quite a lot of them weren't even answered.
he comes out of nowhere and he's this big bad guy, and they say he's not on the high table, but they said like the high table hired him to basically do anything he wants, and they give him like all the resources. But I'm still like, okay, this guy has a lot of power, but he's not on the high table, which is like the most powerful organization in this world, and which is like 12 members long, I think. And we know that in the high table, like there's 12 people, and they never show who the high table is or who are these people. I really want to know like what is the high table. How did the high table come together? Like I want to know more backstory of the whole high table thing. It's such a big deal in this world, and I really thought they would get to that. And I was like, man, they never got to the high table. It seemed like they just talk about it. Um, and we know that like out of the third or the second movie that we see there's this Italian brother and sister, and the sister is on the high table, and the brother wants to kill her so he can be on the high table. So I guess the 12 families that run the high table, they just pass their authority to another family member, so it's like inherited kind of thing anyways. So we kind of know about that. I'd like to know more about like how do you get on the high table, and I don't know, I wish there was more story with that. So I think there's missed opportunities there.
I kind of hope when you get, I kind of hope when you get it on DVD, it's got a whole list of answers for us.
Yeah, I know they had
quite a lot of questions we've got on the movie.
And I know they had like a 4-hour movie at first or something like that. So maybe there's more stuff in there. I don't know, explained. But I didn't like. I wish they explained who these characters were better, and like because like the Marquis, like if you want to make him a major villain, like I wish they would have introduced him in the last movie or something. So then we kind of go, oh yeah, this guy. I don't know. They kept introducing new characters, and I'm just like, okay, I don't care about these characters because you just now introduced them in the last movie. It's like, why not bring characters, through the series? Like, I don't know if they just didn't think it out or they didn't have a good plan to end the series. And like the whole Marquis character, he's the same character as Giovanni in the second movie. They both love to wear. They're both filthy rich. They both wear really nice suits. They both love to hang out in art museums. There's all these scenes in art museums in both movies.
They both like eating food in
Yeah,
their scenes
and drinking wine or whatever. I don't know. And there's both very smug jerks. I felt like they're the same characters. I'm like, why bring the Marquis here? I mean, Giovanni dies, I guess, so you can't bring him. But I don't know. I wish they would have done something different than just another character, just like the second movie. And yeah, I don't know. So a lot of that, and like I said, the movie probably could have been cut down a little bit if you cut out like Berlin or something. You probably could have cut it down and been all right, and could cut down some of the characters, I think, and it would have been a little bit made more sense, I guess, or more cohesiveness to it. I don't know. I wish they could have figured a way to end the movie on the third one, because the whole idea, I think, is that, and I'm sorry if I'm getting ahead of myself, but like the first movie is all about revenge, and the first movie ends, and we really don't need any sequels after that first movie. But my guess is it made so much money that they're like, oh, we're gonna make a trilogy, and so they come up with this really good idea for the second, third movie. I think bringing him back in, and basically the high table is after him. So his whole goal is to try to get the high table from trying to kill him, basically, and they finally get to this whole duel scene that's supposed to kind of solve all the problems, I guess. That if he wins the duel, that the high table will stop trying to kill him, I guess. And that's kind of the end goal of the whole thing, from the third movie to the fourth movie, basically. And I wish they would have found a way to, just have a good ending to that character that he, whatever does whatever it needs to be done to get the high table off his back. And then he can go back to living a normal life. I guess I thought that was the whole point of the movies, is that he wants to go back to sitting on the couch, petting his dog, and driving his car. That's what he wants in life, and that's what I thought it was going to head to, but it doesn't really head that way. But
yeah, I think well, I'll move on to the characters of John Wick. But before we do that, we've got Joseph here,
Joe,
Evening Joseph, the chosen one, the one and only. Well, I'll talk about the characters for this movie. We obviously got John Wick himself, which Keanu Reeves he always did a fantastic job as John Wick.
yeah,
He's certainly become up there as one of my favorite movie characters. And he's got really, really cool lines in this movie, even though a lot of it is sort of stuff that we've heard before of John Wick saying.
yeah,
You've also got the character of Kane, which, yeah, I thought was an amazing character. I thought the way he fought was really, really cool. But yeah, I do think maybe they made it a bit too powerful. But I like the reason for why he was fighting, which was to protect his daughter.
yeah,
I think we saw his daughter at the beginning of the film. I think was she playing the violin or cello or something.
hmm
I think that's his daughter. And
yeah,
he also had Winston as well, which Winston had quite a lot to do in this movie.
yeah,
Yeah, it's great to see more of him.
yeah.
And also the tracker and his dog. But I really like Tracker because of his dog, really. He would have been a bit of a boring character on his own. But he was just after John Wick for the money.
I guess he's just for the money. Is that the whole thing?
You kept wanting John Wick to be alive, so I think the price could go up.
Yeah, I don't know. That's such a weird motivation to me.
Yeah.
Because I would be happy with $20 million personally.
I think in the first John Wick I think John Wick was up for 2 million. And now in the fourth movie he's up to about 25 million.
Yeah, it's insane number of
Yeah,
money.
it is.
And I thought there'd be more to the tracker's motivation, I guess. I thought something was going to be revealed. I don't know if you thought that at all, or...
Yeah, I thought maybe there might be a twist with him, but
Yeah, I thought there'd be a twist.
yeah, just a guy after money.
Yeah, I guess just after money.
Yeah, and after food for his dog, I guess. You've also got the Marquis as the main villain, which I've not been a massive fan of any of the main John Wick villains, except for the villain in the first John Wick movie.
Yeah.
I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, he was good. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I wasn't the biggest fan of the villain in this movie. It wasn't. It was just the way it was written, really. Just wasn't the biggest fan of it. And you've also got Killer Harkin, which is obviously Scott Adkins' character.
Oh, Killer. Yeah.
I think he was quite a good character from what we saw of him.
Wouldn't you like him?
We didn't really see much of him though.
Yeah. Wouldn't you like to him been more the main bad guy? Wouldn't that have been better?
Yeah, it would have been a bit more unique than having the Marquis.
Yeah, I'd take him over the Marquis personally, I thought, but yeah.
And also we also got the Bowery King, which wasn't really. He was hardly in this movie.
I thought he should have been in it more.
He was in it just for the beginning and just for the end.
Yeah.
It's quite a shame because he's in the other two movies quite a lot. It's just a shame he's not in this one that much.
Yeah, he's a great character.
I thought it was quite funny when we saw him in this film as well.
Yeah, he definitely brings a little more comedy to it. Yeah.
We've got the character. I'm not sure how you pronounce his name, but it's spelled Chidi, and he's that samurai guy at the beginning of the movie. Which I thought for the time we spent with him, I thought he was quite a good character.
Yeah.
I think his name's Chimatsu. I think that Chidi guy is one of the henchmen characters.
Yeah, he's the main main henchman, yeah, of the Marquis.
Which gets killed by the dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. He didn't really have much of a character though.
No,
He was part for John Wick.
he's just another tough guy.
Yeah. And you got Akira, who's Shimatsu's daughter. And apparently there was an end credit scene for this movie that has her trying to look for the person that killed her father.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, I must mean to look at the cane, I guess.
Get revenge.
I missed that end credit scene. I
You
left
did?
the cinema before that.
Uh,
Did you watch it?
yeah. It's funny. Everybody left, and it was just me and like one other person. I'm waiting to see what happens. So I thought John Wick would come back in the mid credits or the end credit scene. I thought we are gonna get some kind of John Wick reveal, but it wasn't. Yeah, it was Kira, kind of looking like she's gonna go assassinate Kane, but we don't see if anything happens or not. So it's ambiguous what happens.
It sets up for a movie with her in.
Yeah, it seems like. Yeah.
We've got Joseph saying, not seen the movie yet, stop here any spoilers. I
Well,
hope we're not spoiled too much, Joseph. Hopefully not. Just tuning in and out. Huge fan of the franchise, but this is what Chapter 3. It's over the top for me.
Yeah.
Well, I think this one goes just as over the top as John Wick 3.
It's over the top. He falls down two like really high spots. One in Berlin, he falls off. I don't know what he falls off. Falls off of something.
Yeah, and in one of them, he jumps out of the building
Yeah,
and lands on the car.
yeah, in Paris. That would kill you. It would break your back or something. And he walks it off.
Like nothing happened.
Yeah. I swear he gets hit by 5 cars. Like I counted when I was watching it because I was like, getting hit by one car would, break your legs at least, not kill you. He gets hit by like 5 cars, I think, and he still gets up. Besides falling down like at least 100 stairs, I mean that would hurt. You'd have a concussion at least, I think, at the end of
Well, before we give our final thoughts on this film, and then go ahead and rank the films, I've got some other things I want to mention about the movie. I'll mention about my favourite moment, which is of course the fighting scene in the house, the bird's eye view fighting scene. It's just I couldn't believe how they did that, and also the character Charon, who's played by Lance Reddick, who actually recently died at the age of 60 a few days ago. He wasn't in this film very much.
No.
I do think his death was quite an emotional one, though. So I didn't really like that character.
Yeah, it was a great character.
Yeah, he was very loyal to Winston. He was probably Winston's best friend.
Yeah.
Probably. And also, yeah, I do think John Wick Chapter 4 undoes a lot of John Wick Chapter 3. It sort of makes that movie unnecessary.
Yeah.
I just think it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Mainly retaking the Continental, and in the fourth one, the Continentals they destroyed after retaking it.
Yeah.
And also that kind of desert. Yeah, they're the Elder. It sort of made it pointless in John Wick 3. And John Wick had to chop off his finger for that guy, and he just kills him straight away in this one. Just doesn't really make much sense.
Yeah.
I do think this movie is I agree with you. This movie is a very long one. I've got a couple of things he could have cut to make it shorter, which is Scott Adkins part of the movie. Maybe they could have had his character be the main villain and just got rid of that whole Berlin part.
Yeah.
But that part still was done very well though. And there was one part of the film when Winston was walking past the painting and he was doing it for about 20 seconds. There's no talking, just him walking past the painting.
Yeah.
I was thinking, this can't be much longer. It can't be that big, this place.
Yeah.
At the end of it, I was just looking at the paintings to pass the time.
Yeah, I wonder if they were did they say were they in the Louvre or something? I was like, they're in Paris, so I was like,
To be honest, I didn't really get the point in that part of the movie. I don't really think we learned a lot then.
Yeah, I don't think so. But I was like, that's the most fancy place they would have gone to.
I mentioned about I've actually got a cool coincidence in the movie. There was one part of the film when it was 5 to 6 a.m. in the film. John Wick was checking his watch, and my dad checked his, and it was 5 to 6 p.m. for us
Really?
at the same time. It was quite cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mentioned about the assassin radio. The fact they have no radio just for the assassins.
They have their own radio.
Yeah, I thought that was quite unique,
Yeah.
quite funny. And she chose the song "Painted Black" by the Rolling Stones, but it was a cover version of that song.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, I don't think it was. Yeah, or it might have been a remix version or something.
Okay.
But I thought it was quite cool to hear that song.
Yeah.
I would like more 60s and 70s songs in John Wick. I think that would have been quite interesting.
Yeah.
And then we've also got to talk about John Wick's death at the end of the movie, which I do think he definitely I think he earned, well, at the end of John Wick he got what he wanted really. He got his freedom back, but unfortunately it killed him. But I think he's probably satisfied with where he ended things.
Hmm.
I thought it was quite an emotional ending for him. I thought it was a great ending for his character, but I don't think it was a perfect ending though. I would have liked it if he did survive, but I guess here we are, him not surviving by the looks of it. It was nice to see that grave that said "loving husband." So that's what he wanted on there. I didn't know it was the last time he had a proper discussion with Winston, and Winston was seeing John's grave.
Yeah.
But yeah, what did you think of the way that the film ended?
I was so surprised, and I didn't think he died until they showed the graves.
I couldn't
Even then,
believe it.
I think even
I
then
was
I didn't think he died.
I was thinking, I thought there was a fifth John Wick movie, but turns out there was originally going to be a fifth one, but in
Yeah,
the end, they made this one sort of the fourth, fifth one.
yeah, that's what shocked me so much. It's funny because I remember when I watched the third movie, I thought it was going to end on the third movie. I didn't know they were going to make any more. So, and I thought, trilogy is usually what you do when you make movies like action movies. So I thought when I went to the third movie, I'm like, all right, this is going to be the finale of the thing. And in the end of the third one, when nothing really gets resolved, and ends with the Bowery King like, hey, we're going to get back at them, and it ends. And I remember at the time thinking, wait a minute, this doesn't seem like a good ending to this franchise. Like he seems like he's still on the run. And so I was real confused at the end of the third one. And then it was like after I saw the movie that I thought I heard them say that they're going to make two more, a fourth and a fifth. So I was
Yeah,
like, oh, okay. So they have a plan. They're going to make a fourth and fifth movie, and they're going to come with a really cool ending in the fifth movie or something like that. That really ends this whole franchise. I'm like, okay, sure. If you can make more John Wicks there, it's good as the first three, then I'm all for two more. And so going to the fourth one, I thought this was the first of two movies. And I thought this movie was going to end on some kind of cliffhanger that was going to continue on into the fifth movie or whatever. And so then I watch this movie, and it's like, yeah, it's like all of a sudden, well, first of all, he wins the duel, so he basically gets the high table off his back. That's the whole purpose of the duel. It's like if he wins the duel, then he's forgiven, basically, and that's the whole purpose. The whole movie really is him to uh, kind of get all of that. Basically, he's on the run because he killed Giovanni in the Continental, which was against the rules.
I bet John Wick regret doing that in probably the third and fourth movie.
Yeah, he
What
probably shouldn't have
what have I done?
done. Looking back, he probably shouldn't have done that, but
I couldn't believe
um,
it.
yeah, 'cause that's all his problems really were I mean, John Wick, all he wants to do is he wants to retire from being an assassin and just live at home by himself with a dog. I think that's his whole dream in life. Um, and think about his wife, whatever. And yeah, so I'm like, okay, so he wins the duel, and they're like, oh, and I remember I was like, wait a minute, like, where's the fifth movie? Because I'm thinking he resolved everything all of a sudden. So I was confused a little bit. I was like, okay, where are they gonna go with the fifth movie? I wonder. And then he's on the steps and he falls down, and I'm like, huh, that's weird, because I'm thinking he can't die. There's a fifth movie, so all of a sudden they're at a gravestone. I'm like, he's not dead, is he? Like, that doesn't make any sense. There's a fifth movie coming out, and I thought maybe that was all just a ruse. And I'm thinking, oh, they're probably gonna show him. He's probably still alive, And like the movie ends, and I'm like, huh, he can't be dead, right? Like, I was so confused. Like, I couldn't even think about the fact that he's dead, because I was like, he can't be dead. There's a fifth movie.
It sort of ruined the emotion of that scene. But
Yeah,
I think if I watch it again, it probably would get to me.
that's a good point. I couldn't feel the emotion because I was confused. I was like, I don't get what's going on here. And then I went on and I thought, is this the end of the franchise? It can't be. And so then I went on the internet, and I'm like, what's, I was like, what's going on at the end of John chapter 4? Like, I was wondering what people thought. And then I was reading like they acted like, oh, they don't think they're going to make another movie. And I was like, oh, like, I thought this whole time the plan, I don't know when they decided that this was going to be the last movie, but maybe
It might have been to do, yeah, it might have been to do with COVID.
yeah. And I know Keanu Reeves is like 59, so maybe Keanu Reeves is getting too old to continue the character, and maybe it's just too hard on him. So I don't know. I didn't know. This is the problem with knowing behind the scenes internet stuff. I guess if I didn't think there was a fifth movie, I would have been okay with the end. But because I was always thinking there's a fifth movie, I was just confused, and like, so I had to go on there, and it's like, oh, it's so ambiguous. They're like, oh, maybe we'll make a fifth movie, but right now we're just going to take time away from the movie. And I was like, what? Like, when did this decision happen? And I wish I would have known that when I coming into the movie. And so I don't know what happened, but they evidently thought, oh, we don't need another movie. And I think you said, I don't know if you said this today, but you said in your other review that this is probably, maybe this is the fourth and fifth movie put together.
Yeah.
Maybe they decided, forget making another movie. Let's just make this the fourth and fifth movie in one, I guess. Maybe that's what happened. So I don't know. I'm kind of left disappointed because I was like, oh, I didn't want this to be the way it ended.
I think we're going to see John Wick again, though. But
They could, though.
It could be a prequel of John Wick, maybe.
Yeah, that'd be great. I would be for that.
So I think they're going to make more movies in the John Wick universe.
They are, yeah.
So it might be in the John Wick, but it's not the end of that series.
Yeah.
We've got Mike saying two legends. Thanks, Mike. But I guess we'll now give our final thoughts on the movie. I'll let you go first, Jason.
Yeah, like I said, I was really disappointed with this one. I didn't like the way they ended it and ended this franchise. Like, to me, the only satisfactory way of ending this franchise for me is like, yeah, somehow he wins over the high table, and to me, it should have ended with him sitting at home, petting his dog, looking at a picture of Helen, his wife, and then to me, I wanted like the doorbell to ring, and him go to the door and open it, and then like there's John Leguizamo from the first movie, and he's like, oh, here's your car, I fixed it. And then John Wick like turns to his dog and is like, and he never gives the dog a name, so I don't know. He'd be like, hey,
I think it's referred to as just boy.
his boy, yeah.
Yeah.
And then he should have been like, hey, boy, let's go for a ride, and then have them get in the car and ride off, and that could have been the ending. To me, that I would have been satisfied with that kind of ending. But I don't know. I didn't like the way this.
It could have ended in that airfield that John Wick was driving in the first film. It could have ended it there.
To me, that's the way to end it. Not this way. Like, it seemed like a waste to just kill him, and it's like, man, I spent this whole time invested in this character, and now he's dead. Like, what was the point of it all? I don't know. I really didn't like what they did with this movie and with the character, and I feel like maybe it was one too many movies. Like I said, they should have just ended it in chapter 3, and it would have been the perfect trilogy, I think, in my opinion. And so I don't know. I'm just so disappointed with this movie, to be honest. I just kind of makes me angry that they did this, but
I still have quite a few problems on the movie, but I overall thought it was amazing. But it's quite interesting that you can have two different views on the same movie. You can do that. But yeah,
yeah.
I thought it was amazing. I'm looking forward to watching it again and give more thoughts on things. I've got Maxine, you've got to stream. Still feel that Jason's let out all his thoughts.
Oh, it's so true. I could go on for a long time, probably, if I went, scene by scene, like all the problems I have. And but I feel like if this movie's going to make a lot of money, I mean, it's doing really well. So if it makes a lot of money, maybe they'll make a 5th one and be like, hey, he's not dead after all.
Maybe he's a zombie.
Yeah, he could be the Crow or something, come back from the dead,
or a ghost. So he will be invincible then.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, so who knows if if they make another movie and it's good, maybe it'll fix the problems of this movie, but I don't know.
It's if they respect your opinions. Yeah, I still thought it was an amazing movie, but yeah. I can see where you're coming from though, for a lot of your points. And I guess we might as well now rank the John Wick movies. So I can never guess what your number 4 is, Jason.
Yeah, and number 4 for me would be John Wick Chapter 4.
What's number 3 then?
Number 3 would be the original John Wick movie. It's got some great action sequences, and obviously it's a great beginning to this character. My major problem with the first one is just that he kills the whole point is he gets revenge against the guy that kills his dog, basically. Which I totally get. If someone killed my dog, I would want them to die too. So I'm like all for John Wick killing people for a dog. That makes sense to me. And so he kills him, and the movie's not over. There's still 20 minutes left in the movie, or 30 minutes, and I never understood that. I'm like, oh, the movie should be over now, and all of a sudden now he has to fight the mafia boss. So I thought I didn't like the way they did the ending on that one either, but still a really solid action film in there. Yes, my number 2 would be John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum. Again, the action sequences are just absolutely amazing. I absolutely love the beginning in the antique store with the knives, and then the motorcycle chase scene, and then or I guess it's a horse. He's on a horse, I think, being chased by motorcycles. And I just loved all the assassins coming after him. It was such a great beginning or even got him killing that 7-foot giant in the library was great. And and then the whole scene with in Morocco, I think it is, with Halle Berry, that was a really great action sequence. One of my favorites of the series. And then India, the New York Continental was really great. I love how they did that. And what's his name? I don't know. They had this bad guy that he had to fight. That was really good. He had a sword.
I can't remember his name.
I know. Now I'm forgetting the guy, but yeah. Anyways, yeah. Still, just I think it's a solid movie. I would say the third act was a little slow moving, and I didn't get the whole elder thing. I still don't like the whole elder thing. What is the elder? I don't know. I could done with all that. And then I didn't like the way the third one ended really either. Again, you can't fall off of a roof of a building and just get back up. I just can't get that. But anyways, but still the action's so good. I still forgive a lot of the flaws and still really like that movie. And so number 1 for me is John Wick Chapter 2. It's my favorite action movie of all time. It's the perfect action movie in my opinion. I love how they bring him back with the whole marker. Like that was such a good idea. Like because he basically goes back into retirement for like 5 seconds, and then all of a sudden he has to come back in because of the whole marker thing. So I love that he gets back in. Of course, I love the whole fight in Rome and in the catacombs was a great action sequence. Love what they did there, and then with Common, whatever other assassin guy, he has that whole fight scene with him. It's great. Um, and then him being on the run from Giovanni, putting a big hit on, and he has to go through all these different assassins. I love all that. It's done so well. And then you get introduced to the Bowery King, which is great. I love that scene. And then you end with him going after Giovanni in that art museum is like the greatest action scene ever, I think, made. From the art museum to the like room full of mirrors, and just one great action scene after another. And I just floored when I watched it for the first time. My jaw was just like, oh my god, like I've never seen this kind of action before. Like they definitely brought action to a new level with John Wick Chapter 2. Like I've never seen another action movie that good, that exciting and new and original kind of idea. The way he does, the way he's able to shoot people, and then he grabs somebody and flips them over, and then shoots people. It's like, or puts them into a chokehold while he's shooting people. Like I don't know, I've never seen anybody do it that well before. That's such a cool idea for an action star or for a character. Part gun expert, part judo expert. I love it. Yeah, that movie is just every action scene is so absolutely amazing, and that's one that's really high up on my list of favorite movies. Like I could watch that a million times. It feels like, and I still get excited over those scenes that happen anyway. So yeah, so that's the way I rank them.
Well, I think our ranking's very different, actually. my number 4 is John Wick 3, Parabellum,
Mm-hmm.
which I think it would have been. I think it would have been my favourite of the 3 John Wick movies. If it weren't for John Wick 4, I think John Wick 4 made this movie just a bit unnecessary.
Yeah.
It sort of made the story from this film just being a good story instead of just being an okay one, which is why I've got as my least favourite, just because I think it's got the weakest story. But it doesn't stop it from being a great movie because the action in the film is fantastic. You've got some of the best action I've ever seen. You've got a lot of action with horses, and there's a lot of swords and knife fights in this film.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shootouts as well. And I think my favourite is probably the fight in Moscow with the dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was really, really cool.
Yeah, I like that.
The movie definitely slowed down a bit when John Wick was in the desert.
Yeah.
The do think this film maybe, I think it's a little bit too long. I think there's just a bit too much action in this movie, and I'm not the biggest fan of the way it ended. The fact that John Wick had a massive fall and yet he still survived.
Yeah.
Yeah. I still think it's a great movie. That's what it's. But it's not my number 1 though, or number 2 or 3. My number 3 is John Wick Chapter 2, which is actually your favourite.
Yeah.
And to be honest, when I first saw this movie, I didn't think it was a great movie, but every time I rewatch it, I do like this movie a bit more every time. It's got fantastic action, and I do really enjoy the story. And I wasn't the biggest fan of the way it ended, but once I saw the 3rd movie, I wasn't happy with the way John Wick 2 ended because we had to wait years for another John Wick movie.
Right.
John Wick 3, I mean, it made me appreciate the ending of John Wick 2. I just love the way that everyone's turning around that John Wick, that any of them could be assassins trying to kill him. And yeah, I just think the ending really, really cool. I love the beginning part when he's getting his car back. But another problem I've got in the movie is I think there's just a bit too much exposition going on. And I think it just made the movie a little bit too long. And also, I think they reference the first John Wick movie a bit too much in this one. I think you've got to assume that everyone's seen the first John Wick movie going into this one. We don't need they don't remind us of the fact that he killed someone with a pencil.
Yeah.
And I think he actually did do that in this movie.
Yeah, he did.
I love that whole scene when the whole montage scene is fine. All these different people.
Yeah.
He's just trying to just go by his day. He's trying to just go to places, and you got.
He's trying to get on Subway.
And also, his house got burnt in this film, which I thought was a shame. But so we really like his house.
Yeah.
It's great to spend more time with his dog in this movie. My second favourite is John Wick Chapter 4, which came out, of course, this year. I think it's an amazing John Wick movie. I've already spoken about it. There's no point in talking about it again here. My favourite John Wick movie then is the first one.
Original.
It's in my top 10 films of all time.
Okay.
I think it's a near perfect movie. It's one of my favourite action movies. It's my second favourite behind Die Hard. Okay. And I remember the first time watching this movie, I was just blown away by it. I was sold by the premise alone. I remember my dad telling me about it, and I was just sold straight away. And I definitely felt for John Wick in this movie. And his dog died. Definitely got to me.
Yeah.
But easily my favourite story of the John Wick films because of that, of the fact that someone killed his dog and he wanted to get revenge for it. I just felt where John Wick was coming from, and it just made the action sequences and the whole film just more enjoyable because I wanted to see John Wick get his revenge.
Right.
He needed. And in the end, he got another dog, which very pleased about. But it's the fact that it wasn't really the fact that it was dog it was given. It's the fact that it was given by his dying wife.
Yeah.
The last thing she gave him.
Yeah.
I just got taken away from him just like that.
Yeah.
And he stole this really cool car as well. But he still had a couple of other cars. I don't think he was hugely fussed about that. He probably thought, I'll wait until chapter 2 to deal with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do know what you mean. That it takes down that guy's son, and then the last 20 minutes it's taking down his dad. It's sort of the ending bit didn't have to be there, but
yeah,
I still really love the ending bit though. Actually, the beginning of the movie starts where it ends as well. So I like when films go full circle like that.
Yeah.
It's not a perfect movie. I've got nitpicks on it, but I can't really think of any now. But the only nitpicks that I see when I watch the movie, and in fact I'm going to watch it again this weekend, so I'll probably see some nitpicks. So, yeah, I know it's not a perfect movie, but it's still one of my favourites. One that I love watching.
Mm-hmm.
It's one that I never get bored of watching. I've introduced this film to quite a few people, and when I first saw this movie, I didn't know it was a massive success. And it was actually the first time I ever saw Keanu Reeves in a movie. So I've always thought of him as an action star, not really a comedy star, because I know he's in those Bill and Ted films.
Yeah.
I've seen Bill and Ted Face the Music, which I thought was all right. But yeah, this is definitely my favourite film that Keanu Reeves is in.
Yeah.
Although I think Speed's a great one as well.
Yeah, Speed's good. Yeah.
Yeah. I think there's a Speed 2, but why is there a Speed 2? It doesn't need to be a Speed 2.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't need to be a John Wick 2, but I'm glad we'll prove wrong there, because John Wick 2 is really, really good.
Have you seen the Matrix movies?
I saw the first one, but I never really got into it. I need to give it a rewatch, because I watched it about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Or about eight years ago, maybe. But before we conclude the stream, we got something from Mike here. So, a serious question for you guys: if they make a John Wick 5, what do you think they could do? What do you guys think could actually kill him? I don't know, really.
I know. He can fall off of high places and get hit by cars, and that doesn't kill him. I know that.
Maybe, I don't know, get hit by a rocket or something. John Wick in space.
Yeah.
You'd be like Fast and Furious then.
Oh yeah.
That was really ridiculous. Cars in space. I'm glad he didn't get that ridiculous in John Wick.
Yeah, and I was thinking about Fast and the Furious because one of the things that I don't like about Fast and Furious is they'll kill a character off, and then in another movie he comes back, and you're like, didn't they kill that guy? And they're like, oh no, they didn't really kill that guy. It just looked like they killed that guy, and I'm like, that's
And there's,
stupid.
and there's always a villain who wants revenge.
Yeah, I don't know. So I was like, I don't want John Wick to turn into Fast and Furious where people die and they come back. Like I don't like that, but
Do you have any final thoughts on the John Wick franchise as a whole?
well, as a whole, it's the greatest franchise, his action franchise of all time. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
I don't think there's anything really close.
yeah. I mean, like Mission Impossible maybe is pretty good, but it's not. It's a different kind of action movie. I feel like.
It's
Um,
really got James Bond as well. But
and
yeah,
you got
it's very, even though it's an action movie, it's still very different to John Wick.
yeah, you got the James Bond, of course. Yeah, it's the biggest franchise of all time. Uh, yeah, and you got like Die Hard and some stuff like that. But
I think Die Hard's my favourite action movie, but John Wick's my favourite action franchise.
yeah, yeah, I
Yeah,
still think it totally changed the game in action movies, in my opinion. But
it's one of our favourite movie franchises. It probably always will be for us, even though
yeah,
you weren't a fan of John Wick 4. But it still doesn't stop me from loving the franchise as a whole.
yeah, oh yeah, definitely.
I might say, but if you can catch a rocket, then I don't think you can die then.
You'd catch it, throw it back, or what?
Can you catch two rockets? That would be cool.
That'd be pretty crazy.
But I enjoyed doing this live stream, talking spoilers on the movie, because we were both very eager to do that.
Yeah, oh yeah. It's hard to talk about this movie without spoilers, to be honest.
Yeah, I find it probably it's certainly one of the hardest movies to talk about without spoilers.
Yeah.
There's just so much to talk about. But do you think you'll buy this movie again? Do you think you'll buy it on DVD, even though you weren't
Uh,
a fan of it?
to be completely honest, I think I'm just gonna be. This is like Indiana Jones, The Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, or like Star Wars prequels and sequels. Like I just pretend they don't exist, and so I think I'm just gonna pretend like Chapter 4 doesn't exist, and only the three movies exist, and I'll just enjoy those three.
Fair enough. I'm definitely going to get it on DVD. I think I agree with you on the prequels. I'm not the biggest fan of the prequels. But I do really like the third Star Episode 3, though. I think that one's really great.
Yeah, it's the better of them. Yeah.
I might see Catch the Rocket and pull it a chokehold.
Do a Cheeto move.
I don't even know what a chokehold is.
Oh, just yeah, get behind it and just squeeze it, I guess.
So, it's a good question, that one, Mike. I appreciate all the
John,
in the chat.
Mike, you should write for John Wick.
Yeah,
They should hire you as a screenwriter.
yeah. I think it'd be quite interesting. I enjoyed doing this live stream with you, Jason. Do you have any final words before we conclude this?
No, I think I said enough.
I think we both said enough on John Wick. I think we're probably going to be a bit John Wicked out after this.
Yeah.
I don't think we ever will. Who knows, I guess. But yeah, thank you all for watching. You can subscribe to Jason's channel and watch both of our spoiler review reviews on John Wick 4 in the description below. Thank you all for watching and ciao.
Bye.
Bye.